I said, what's good? What's happening, world? What's happening, man, baby? I'm just chilling. It's your boy, Jesse, coming to you live and direct. Anyhow, this is my second video of many to come. And we're continuing our CCIE service provider v4.1 discussion, and just wanted to make a follow-up video. I've been grinding, man. I've been grinding, mostly with the family, just spending time with family and working, and other stuff that I've been doing, man. So I've definitely been getting it in, studying my butt off, and I switched gears a little bit from the lab stuff over to the theory, because of course I need to take the written first. So I don't want to de-emphasize doing the practical labbing, but what I hope to re-emphasize is the fact that I'll be doing the written first, which is a series of multiple choice questions. So love the labbing, and that's great. I'm just shifting gears a little bit to the theory. Been able to work I've been able to work a little bit with some service providers, at least from the perspective of the CE nodes. So the service providers are usually kind enough to expose infrastructure concepts to me. So if I ask them a series of questions about VRF, or the way that they handle tagging internally, or forwarding DHCP requests and so on, etc., but just stuff that happens inside the L2 or L3 VPN that we usually get insulated from, I'm able to chat with them about it, and normally they'll kind of tell me what's going on. So that's cool. That's one strategy that some of you out there that don't work for service providers can use. You can kind of social engineer a lot of concepts out of techs and engineers, and it's completely ethical. So that's something that you can do, something that I do periodically. Let's see. I got a book. My boss bought me a couple books, but he said I can only take one at a time. This is one that I got. I'm driving right now home, so this probably isn't all the way safe, but MPLS in the SDN era. So because that's Juniper Networks, that's a Juniper book. I don't think it's on Cisco's official reading list, if one exists. I've seen one floating around in forums for Cisco for the CCIE-SP. But as you know, there's no official study guide. It's just it's kind of like an amalgamation of different resources and stuff like that. But yeah, so MPLS in the SDN era, Juniper Networks. I'm also Juniper certified, got a couple of those, specifically in the SRX, the security track, with the JNCIS-SEC. So that's an interest of mine as well. But I like Juniper Networks from the perspective of the way that their literature, how the authors bring it together. I like the day one series stuff, a lot of good stuff packed in there on architecture and things like that. But I also appreciate that they always include nice little illustrations in there, and they go from high level to pretty granular fast, and I like that. Cisco, they have some great authors as well, and there's a lot of good literature. I am vendor agnostic, as I've stated so many times, and will state again. I don't care who your favorite vendor is. I don't mean that begrudgingly or condescendingly. Hey, whatever it takes to get the job done. Now, there are some syntactical differences. Obviously, you're not taking a Juniper exam, you're taking Cisco, and when you do the practical, even in the theory, you have to be able to make the distinctions between the different applications, the services, and the way that different commands are committed, or how they're bound to an interface, for example. Just one that I can think of, not necessarily totally service provider related, but just dealing with interfaces and things of that nature. You'll notice, for example, Brocade and Cisco, while there are similarities, the way that you go about carving out VLANs and tagging and untagging switch ports are different than how you would do it on a conventional iOS switch. So, you know, I am very cognizant of those syntactical nuances. And so before I get a bunch of hate in the comment section, just know that I'm aware, you know, Juno's commands don't work on Cisco entirely, you know. But although there are similarities on some platforms between Juniper and Cisco, but let's see, I'm rambling. Let's see. What else could I say? So yeah, I got MPLS in the SDN era. I also got iOS XR Fundamentals and that other book with the super long title. It's like, and by the way, the reason I'm not always looking in the screen is because I'm actually driving and I don't want to crash. So as you can see, I'm commuting home and I don't want to be I don't want a fatality like Mortal Kombat, finish him. So I'm just chilling, you know, living ghetto fabulous. No, I'm just playing. I live in the suburbs. But, you know, I got that other book. Before I digress, I was telling you the long title book. It's like, it's like Cisco iOS, iOS XE, iOS XR. It's like all condensed into a single book. And I think it's published by Cisco. So can't remember the name of that book, but it's on the I think Nick Russo has it on his reading list. I don't remember if that's on the Lost in Transit site or where I got that from, but there is a lengthy CCIE-SP reading list. I don't think it's directly from Cisco. I don't know that it's from Cisco, but I saw it in a forum. Anyhow, other thing I wanted to tell you is that I purchased Nick Russo's, well, my company did, purchased Nick Russo's ebook, and I am super excited about it. But man, that thing is a beast. I just took a glance at it, high level, just a cursory overview or review. That thing is intense, man. So you you got to be ready to sit down and have a cup of coffee for that one. But anyhow, guys, I've had a series of challenges over the years. You know, someday I'll tell you guys my story. Probably not in this video because I'm trying to keep it CCIE-SP focused and kind of where I'm at in my study track. But I've overcome a lot of adversity in my life. I have a paranoid schizophrenic mother. I was incarcerated a lot early on. Really hard to find jobs when I first started out doing this stuff. I'm now about 10 years into it. I've worked for a series of managed service providers. If I didn't already tell you that, I think I did in the first video, so I'm sorry for the redundancy. But for those of you that are just tuning into my channel for the first time, I wanted to at least bring you guys up to speed. It's been a really, it's been a long road, but the benefits, I'm starting to reap the benefits of just really just putting my big boy boots on and grinding, you know, waking up every day, not with the mentality that anybody owes me anything or that anybody's going to throw me a pity party. I have a family, you know, a son, a toddler son, and a beautiful wife and a home. And just like a lot of you guys, you know, I try to do my best. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I'm certainly going to be as tenacious as possible in the workforce and keep pressing to go to that next level. So any of you watching this that may have doubts about, you know, your certification track, you can do it. 100%, trust me, you can do it. I never thought I'd be a CCNP route switch or, you know, JNCIS for Juniper or, you know, and the certs aren't the end all be all. And some providers just want certs to meet their quota for their partnerships. But I'll tell you what, it's not a bad idea to take advantage of certs, especially when your company's paying for it. So there's there's just a lot of really subjective and craziness about certifications are a good thing if you're in this industry that we call IT. So don't let anybody tell you different. I was kind of actually, I won't even say that. Not don't let anybody tell you different, but I'm just saying in the space that I operate in, and some of you may operate in this same space as well. Before, I didn't care about certifications. You know, I was just like, you know, I can do this stuff, and you know, when you start out early on, you kind of think you know everything, and as you go along, you realize how much you don't know. So I kind of have found that balance between practical application and theory. That works really well for me. Hey, do I understand how this works, and can I do it? And I kind of toggle back and forth between those. I love research. I love to read. I spend hours reading. Researching and reading is one of my favorite things to do. And then the other piece is the actual labbing. I love experimenting and understanding how things work, jumping on Wireshark in promiscuous mode and watching all of this packet goodness go across the wire. So, yeah. So rock on. You guys do what you got to do. I will be giving you another update soon. Once again, just 2 little plugs. This one, MPLS in the SDN era, gotta check it out, man. I just started thumbing through this book, and it's great. It really is. Just keep in mind, it's. Oh, and by the way, this actually, if you read through the preface, it is actually for iOS XR as well as Junos. So don't be distracted or deterred by the fact that it says Juniper Networks, because it actually addresses iOS XR. In fact, here, let me, just for the naysayers, let me open this up, and give me a second here. Let me open this up, get past the acknowledgements. Actually, before the acknowledgements, preface. Okay, in the preface, you will see here that it says, okay, the 2 chosen network operating systems are Juniper's Junos and Cisco's iOS XR. They don't really make the distinction of versioning of Junos, because I'll just be honest, Junos can do it all. Even on the smallest one of the smallest SRX platforms, the 100B series, which is what I have. I'm a connoisseur of different hardware and firewalls and stuff like that, especially the smaller appliances that I can actually afford. But the 100B right out of the box, you can actually toggle to MPLS mode. From security mode or whatever they call it. So basically it can become a MPLS-P router if you wanted it to. So just something to keep in mind for any of you that actually want to use like real hardware and stuff. But other than that, I'm gonna go before I ramble too much. I'll put more in the next video. I encourage you guys to keep going in your studies. God bless you. And whoever's following me, I appreciate it. Maybe nobody's following me. That's all right, but I at least wanted to vlog the experience. Thank you, Nick Russo, for that awesome book that you published. And shout out to Nick, because he was polite enough to email me back when I reached out to him and just let him know I appreciated his book and whatnot. So thanks, Nick. Awesome book, man. Thanks for your time and efforts that you put into that, blood, sweat, and tears. And I hope when I grow up, I can be just like you. No, I'm just kidding. But I do want to clear the CCIE-SP. So I'm going to keep grinding. To be continued. Bye-bye.